You're at the airport, about to flee the country, hands sweating as you hand over your passport. This feels like the most stressful moment of your life, but only because you have no idea what the next few hours, days, and months have in store for you. You'll be on the run, always looking over your shoulder, never able to settle for even a second. You're living the life of an international fugitive. But just 24 hours ago, you were living a completely innocent, normal life. You were at your desk working late at your accounting job when you noticed something strange. Wire transfers, thousands of them totaling millions of dollars, all moving through accounts you've never seen before. You're the head accountant at this branch, but you've never heard anything about this. You screenshot everything and call corporate, who tell you they'll look into it. You head home, wondering if you've just uncovered something huge. And that night, your phone buzzes. Your system access has been revoked. It must be a mistake. The next morning, you drive to the office, and your keycard doesn't work. Security sees you, speaks into their radio, and starts walking towards you. You panic, turn around, and run. Around the corner, your phone rings. It's an unknown number. Confused and scared, you answer, "It's the FBI." They tell you they need to speak with you about unauthorized wire transfers totaling $47 million. Transfers that were made using your credentials and your name. You're told not to leave the city and to comply with law enforcement. Your heart drops. This is the moment you realize you've been set up. You're a fugitive now. You hang up and you run. The agent scans your passport, looks you in the eyes, then at her screen. She pauses, says your name out loud, and tells you to wait a moment. You know exactly what this means. You thought if you were fast enough, you could leave the country, but they're way ahead of you. You take your passport back and walk away, locking eyes with every security guard you pass on your way out of the airport. You can't fly, but you know you have to get far away and fast. You find the nearest ATM and withdraw $100. It works, but when you try again, your card is denied. Your account has been frozen. Now you have $100 to your name, and the entire federal government is after you. You get on the subway and think about calling your sister, telling her you're innocent, that this is all a setup. But then you realize your phone is a tracker. Every call, every connection, every ping tells them exactly where you are. You power it down, leave it on the seat, and get off at the next stop. Through the window, you watch someone pick it up as the doors close. Good, let them follow that. It's 3 a.m., and you're sitting in a 24-hour diner in Queens, 4 coffees down. There's no chance of sleep, not when you're this stressed. That's when the TV above the counter flashes breaking news. Your face fills the screen. Federal authorities have issued a warrant for this person, accused of embezzling $47 million from an investment firm. The world freezes for a moment. The suspect allegedly created false client accounts and systematically transferred funds offshore over an 18-month period. 18 months? You've only worked there for 14. Authorities say the suspect discovered an internal investigation and attempted to flee the country yesterday evening. The cashier glances at the TV, then at you. You throw cash on the counter and leave. You finally understand what's happening. Someone at your company has been stealing for over a year and a half. You found the evidence, so they made you the target. Now every cop, every camera, every person watching the news knows your face. You can't stay in New York, but buses check ID, planes are obviously out, and you can't rent a car without a credit card and license. You walk to a rest stop parking lot just outside the city and wait. You approach the driver of a car with Pennsylvania plates. You tell him your car broke down and your phone's dead, and offer him $50 cash to drop you somewhere in Pennsylvania. They look at you suspiciously, but 50 is 50. 2 hours later, the radio plays quietly as you sit in silence. Then, manhunt continues for financial crime suspect believed to be traveling through tri-state area. You see the driver glance at you in the rearview mirror. Your heart races. Did they recognize you? They drop you at a rest stop just over the state line and drive off without a word. You're in Pennsylvania now. You have 5th left. You need money, but you can't work legally. No ID, no bank account, no references. Then it hits you. Millions of people, immigrants and criminals, all work under the table every single day. Day laborers, cash jobs, no questions asked. If they can survive without papers, so can you. You're so tired, you don't remember the rest of the journey. But now, you're standing on a construction site. The foreman barely looks at you. He says, show up on time, work hard, and at the end of the day, I'll pay you 80 cash. You've never done manual labor like this in your life. Your hands blister within hours. Your back screams by lunch. But at 6 p.m., he hands you 420s. It's the first money you've earned as a ghost. You find a room on Craigslist. Cash only, no questions, no lease. It's a basement shared with 3 other people who barely speak English. Nobody asks your name. You don't ask theirs. You work. You save. You disappear into routine. 3 weeks pass. You check the news on a library computer, careful not to log into anything. Authorities believe the suspect may have fled to surrounding states. Increased patrols and roadblocks implemented. They're not chasing you directly. They're boxing you in, keeping you regional so you're easier to find, easier to corner. You're still not safe. You need to get further away. Fast. You've saved $600 working construction. You find a rideshare posting online. Someone's driving to Texas and splitting gas costs. That'll work perfectly. 2 days and 150 later, you're in a car with a group of complete strangers. You tell them you're visiting family and refuse to elaborate. Every rest stop makes you paranoid. Every cop car, every security camera. You pass a billboard for a missing persons hotline and wonder if your family filed a report or if they believe what they've seen on the news. You stop for gas in Texas. A state trooper is parked right outside the convenience store. Engine running, lights off. Your ride goes inside to pay, leaving you alone in the passenger seat. The trooper gets out of his car. He's walking toward the pumps, but his path takes him right past your window. You force yourself to stay calm. Your hands are in your lap. You're just another tired passenger on a long road trip. He glances in as he passes and makes eye contact. Every instinct tells you to look away, but looking away makes you suspicious. Looking away means you have something to hide. So you nod, and he nods back. He keeps walking, gets back in his car, and pulls out of the lot. You finally let yourself breathe. Your hands are shaking. 5 hours later, you arrive in McAllen, a town right on the border with Mexico. You have foreign to your name and nowhere to stay, but you know what your mission is? You have to get across the border. For 2 days, you watch the crossing. You sit in cheap diners with a view of the bridge, nursing coffee for hours, learning the rhythms. Morning rush is chaos. Families heading to work, tourists with backpacks, locals who cross daily for groceries or to visit relatives. The lines stretch back hundreds of feet, and the agents are moving people through as quickly as possible. High volume means less individual scrutiny. That's what you're counting on. You buy a cheap backpack from a thrift store and a clean shirt that doesn't look like you've been sleeping in it. You need to look like you belong here, like you're just another person making the crossing for normal, unremarkable reasons. With every day you stay in America, you grow more paranoid. What if someone spotted you? What if the driver ratted you out? So, the next morning, you decide it's time. It's all or nothing. The line moves slowly. Every step forward feels like it takes forever. When it's finally your turn, you hand over your passport like it's nothing. Like you've done this 1,000 times. The agent scans it, and for a second, everything seems fine. Then he pauses. He types something into his computer, looks at the screen, and then back at you. Step aside, please. Secondary inspection. Your heart stops, but you nod and move where he's pointing. You don't argue. You don't ask why. You just comply. They take you to a white room with no windows. Fluorescent lights buzz overhead. There's a table, 2 chairs, and nothing else. No one tells you what's happening. No one gives you a timeline. You're just told to wait. 10 minutes pass, then 20, then 30. You sit there, hands folded on the table, trying to look calm while your mind races through every possible outcome. Are they arresting you? Are they sending you back? Did Mexico issue a warrant too? Every second feels like an eternity. Every sound in the hallway outside makes you tense up, waiting for the door to open and for someone to tell you it's over. You think about what happens if they send you back. A trial you can't win. Evidence planted with your name all over it. Years in prison for something you didn't do. 1 hour passes. The door finally opens. An agent stands there holding your passport. You can go. That's it. No explanation, no apology, no acknowledgement of the hour you just spent wondering if your life was about to end. Just go. You take your passport, walk out, and keep moving. You cross into Mexico. No sirens, no chase, no dramatic last-second escape. You just cross. You find a cheap room in Reynosa, pay cash for the week, and check the news on a hostile computer, careful not to log into anything that could trace back to you. You search your name. One line buried in a newsfeed. Suspect believed to have fled the country. Investigation ongoing. That's it. Nothing about a manhunt, nothing about international cooperation. Just one line, already slipping down the page as newer stories replace it. And that's when you finally understand. They're not chasing you anymore. You left, and that's exactly what they wanted. Whoever framed you didn't need you arrested. They needed you gone, out of the country, out of their way, out of the story. If you had stayed, you would have fought, hired a lawyer, demanded evidence, forced a trial. You would have made noise, asked questions, maybe even uncovered what was really happening, who really did it. But you ran. And by running, you became the story they needed. You fled, so you're guilty. Case closed. You're alive. You're safe. But your old life is completely over. Not because you're being hunted, but because going back means walking straight back into the flames. Every piece of evidence points to you. Every system is designed to track you down and capture you. You think about calling your family, telling them the truth, explaining what really happened, but you can't. Not yet. Maybe not ever. Because the moment you reach out, you give them a thread to pull, a location to trace, a reason to reopen the case. And more than that, you'd be putting them in an impossible position, asking them to believe you over everything they've seen on the news, asking them to choose between you and their own safety. So you don't call, you never call. The only way to stay safe is to stay gone and to start a new life as an international fugitive.